Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us.
We're looking at the future of renewable energy and a city that's going to 100% renewables, but not just into the future. It's actually actively working at it right now. So we have a gentleman, Ben Colbert. He's the founder, CEO of City Renewables. And we're going to go through a step-by-step installation of a solar energy system, how it works, why it's important, and how if you're a homeowner, business owner, community of faith, nonprofit, whatever it may be in Washington, D.C., and truly across the entire United States, this is what you're going to be seeing. So, Ben, welcome to the Emerald Planet.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Say, looking at this photograph here, this car, how is this a symbol of the future of Washington, D.C., but not only Washington, D.C., the whole United States?
Sure. I think you see, a new shiny car, new technology. It's an electric vehicle in an alleyway where we work. Whenever we show up to solar sites, we're always squeezing into alleyways. And I think this photo really embodies like the grid of DC, the urban landscape, and where we're revitalizing things. We're bringing in new technology. We're powering houses from the sun. You can connect your car directly into your solar panels, and you're running off of clean energy.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. Now, looking at it, this really is a high-tech industry. And we're looking at the back of a solar panel. Tell us what we're looking at and why all of these connections are so important and critical as far as producing the power from the sun, but getting it to the end user.
Sure. So a solar system has a few different components. You've got solar panels. Each solar panel is connected into what's called an inverter. And then you have a conduit that runs down to your main panel. So this is showing you pictures of solar panels and those little connections on the back where the electricity, it's direct current that runs into an inverter that converts it into alternate current, what we use in the grid. And then it'll run directly into your main panel. And you use what you need to directly from those solar panels. And then any excess is rolled back in through your meter and sold to your utility company.
Mm-hmm. I think this is just absolutely incredible. Having the solar panel sitting out here, very sleek, sitting on the ground, ready to go up. The amazing part about this, Ben, is 6 hours later, you're actually, in some cases, turning on the power to the whole house.
Sure. Yeah. It usually only takes about 6 to, sometimes 8 hours if we got a bigger system. But this is the first step. You unload the equipment and the crews show up on site, and you see the ladder in the background there. Once we finish the racking system on the rooftop, those panels are just shimmied right up by a rope and connected in, and we tie it into the main panel and dust our hands off and get out of there as fast as possible, as efficient as possible.
Yeah, and this is really what you're talking about, is taking it up the ladder and putting it on the roof. And I know this is something that you really emphasize, of course, is safety. but it really shows how simple this process is.
Yeah, it's not rocket science to build these systems anymore. The technology is really, really sophisticated and efficient to where it allows us to build these systems really quickly, and there's not too much work involved as long as you're trained and understand how it all works. It's quite fun each day.
Now, being on the rooftop, of course, this is really the guts of everything that's going on. And you've thrown out a few terms about the racking and the wiring and the solar panels. How are we seeing here how everything is starting to fit together in this step-by-step installation?
Yep. So I mentioned that there's a few components to a solar system, and a really important component is going to be the racking system. And you see those beams right there. They're triangle beams that are specifically designed for solar installations. It's specifically designed for row house installations. And how we do it is we bolt them into the parapet walls. So nothing is attached to your main roof. It goes into the really strong parapet walls that can hold thousands and thousands of pounds. And you first bolt these beams into each one of those parapets, and then they have specific grooves that are designed to hold screws that clip the solar panels in. So it's really a lot of design goes into these to make them as efficient as possible.
Now, using the power tools that actually kind of if we will, the next steps, how does all this work together, and how are they trained to know exactly, what screws go in, how tight to make them? We're being a little nerdy, high-techy here, but I want to do that so that the homeowners, the business owners, really understand this really is quite simple, nothing to fear, and can really change the life for you, your family, and your employees.
Sure. As I mentioned, everything's at this point is all specifically designed for solar installations. We have specific screws, we have specific beams and racking devices that allow you to safely and efficiently install these solar panels. So I mentioned before, you have a racking system, and you see that silver line going down. That's what's called an iron ridge rack, and there's a little groove in there, and these solar panel screws have a little platform, if you will, that secures them directly into that beam. And once they're secure, they're stronger than your roof. I always joke about the reason that you'd have to replace a solar panel is if you have a tornado that comes down and sucks up your house, it's going to suck up those solar panels. So you're going to have some problems, but these solar panels will handle hail, really high winds, and they're almost indestructible now and very safe.
That's amazing. And also too, I thought it was very interesting. I want to not leave this point right now, but how you're actually putting the racking into the perimeter walls. And so that's where all the weight is distributed. It's amazing how you put this together. In many ways, you're actually strengthening the house when you're putting the solar panels on, correct?
Right. I call solar panels a iPhone cover or a cell phone cover for your phone. The solar panels are made of really, really strong silicon. There are videos of people almost hitting them with baseball bats, and they're almost indestructible. They're certainly a lot stronger than your roof. So if you have any kind of hail damage, if we have a really big hailstorm, your roof is going to be damaged before, or the surrounding roof before the solar panels. But usually your roof is covered by the solar panels, and the solar panels protected, and they'll extend your roof by 5, sometimes 10, 15 years.
Yeah, and I've heard that too. Just as keeping the heat off the roof extends the roof itself another 5, 10, and 15 years. So it's amazing what you're doing, the benefits that people don't even think about or talk about And that's why I think this step-by-step installation stroll together is so critically important. What is happening now as far as getting that solar, that power that you're collecting in the solar units themselves down to the meter?
Sure. So what we're looking at here is going to be, this is one of those beams that go across the parapet walls. And each one of the solar panels, whenever they're laid down, they're going to have an inverter underneath that's called a microinverter. And each panel has a little wire, a plug that hooks into that portion that you see there, that's the shorter portion of the wire. So that's plugged into there, and each one of the panels are connected, and those cords allow the electricity to travel through those wires and into a conduit that is connected directly into your main panel. So during the daytime, you're using electricity just directly from the sun that travels through those wires into your main panel. And then again, any excess that you're using will roll back out through the meter, and your meter rolls backwards, and your utility company will buy that electricity from you.
I think that's amazing. Now, again, we're looking at a little different angle, but tell us how this is, again, extension of what we were just looking at as far as collecting the sun energy and then sending it down to the main panel.
So this is another image of one of those microinverters. So each panel will have, these microinverters are installed before the solar panels are attached to the rack. And each one of the solar panels are connected to these microinverters. And they're pretty simple to install. You can see that you essentially just connect those cords, and everything is specifically designed for efficiency and ease of installation. So thousands and thousands of hours of engineering has gone into each one of these products that we use to make it more efficient and cost effective, time effective, to cut down the cost of solar panels.
And one thing too, having been in supply chain most of my professional life, these things are designed so, I should say perfectly, but they really are, so that there's virtually no waste of materials. And I think that's another thing that people need to realize too. We're cutting down on having to mine and process raw materials. And so that's a savings to the environment and cutting down on what's going on as far as greenhouse gas emissions. Let's march through this. We got a couple more steps. And what's happening here, Ben? And I'm just going to take you to the next slide right after this.
Yeah, this is the most interesting part, I think, of a very interesting picture. And I get comments from people that are very seasoned in the industry about pictures like this. You see, what he's doing is mapping the system. So each one of these microinverters communicate through Wi-Fi to your phone. So each one of these microinverters has a barcode on it that corresponds with a monitoring system. And this picture is showing how we take those barcodes out and we map the system. This information goes into what's called the in-phase monitoring portal. And you will be, as a customer, you'll be able to see each solar panel and how much electricity that each solar panel is producing. And if a solar panel is not producing for some reason, it's covered under a warranty. So we'll know and come out and fix it.
Yeah, I think this is really very important, and it shows how this is fit together. Tell us what we're looking at here. We've actually run out of time. I'm going to give it to you anyway. What are we seeing here?
Sure. So this is going to be like the final connection of how the solar panels are connected into your home. So you have the panels on your rooftop. Whenever they're hit by the sun, electricity is going to travel through a conduit that runs down your house, and we screw a hole through the wall and connect this into your main panel. And once it's connected, then that electricity can travel directly into your main panel, and you use, you know, the sunlight directly to power your home, and then any excess will go back through that meter, and it's sold in back to the grid. And that picture right up above the screwdriver, that's going to be your safety shut off. So it's very safe.
Fantastic.
You don't need to shut it off. You just shut it right off right there.
This is very elegant. Thank you, Ben Colbert, founder, CEO, City Renewables, as we create the Emerald Planet.
Thank you very much.